All right, we're here with Nick Bobeck, head football coach at the University of Central Oklahoma, following the Bronchos' win over Central Missouri. Coach, why don't you just make an opening statement about the game first?
Obviously, we're very happy with the win and the way that our kids played. You know, it wasn't necessarily a clean game. Had a couple of just silly penalties, and then had a couple of silly turnovers. But overall, that was as clean a football game as we've played, and I feel really good about the way that we played. We executed at a high level, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, able to turn them over 4 times. It's really the best offense in the league, statistically. A group that's played really, really well all year and scored. I think they've scored 63 times and scored 70 once. And just really proud of our kids. We had obviously it was senior day, and be able to send those guys out the way that we sent them, I think was special. Really proud of that group of kids. That's a great group. Really a program building group and a foundation group for our program. And and some of those guys that are those program guys didn't get to play today. And that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of this group about, this whole football team, is there wasn't an excuse made or anything like that. It's all right, next man up, and go play the game, and we trust that every man on the football team is going to do their job and is going to handle their business, and that's what they did today, and I was really proud of them.
You talk about that senior class. There's 21 of them, honored before the game. The offense, there's a lot on offense, a lot on defense. The offense gets a lot of recognition for the numbers they've put up with Chaz. And then, so today Chaz throws almost 400 yards. You got 3 receivers with 100 yards. And that O-line is a lot of seniors on the line doing a lot of work. Just a little more about that group and what they mean to you and how they've been able to produce the numbers they have.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing really that's special. You just try to get those kids the ball, and if you got to make a tackle. If you get those guys with the ball in space, and people has to tackle them, and that's the deal with Josh Crockett and J.T. Looper, and those guys. Elliott Curry had a monster game, and did a great job. And it's the same thing with Bruce, and that's where people really don't notice, but that offensive line group did a really good job and have done a really good job all year. And there's 2 senior starters in that group, and Aaron Williams and Sam Noble, and then you got a couple sophomores and a junior that are starting as well. And then a guy that just kind of goes unnoticed, and he's just a solid football player, just a darn solid football player, is Caleb Moss. And has done an excellent job. We kind of threw him in the fire a little bit, like we threw Bruce in the fire this week and last week. 4 years ago against Nebraska Kearney. He goes in there and he starts and never relinquishes the job. When you get tough kids and high character kids that believe in what you're doing, and you can mold them, they allow you to mold them. You end up doing some special things, and that's what that offensive group has done as far as breaking the records that they've done, and it's been good.
Jonathan?
Okay, to ask about Bruce White. So yeah, he's a walk-on. But what can you say about his performance, about having thrust into a starting role after pretty much being non-existent?
Yeah, well, you can either. We all try to plan things, and that's us as humans, and we never thought or planned or dreamed in a million years that we were in the situation that we are today with the injuries that we've had at the running back position and the kids that we've had quit at the running back position throughout this season, and it's been a really unique year, but it goes back to character. With Bruce, and he was willing to go in there and take his red shirt off last week and go carry the ball 6 times, and then is the starter this week and rushes 22 times for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns or something like that, and just a tough kid, that isn't afraid. He's maybe 5'5" and 150 pounds. I don't know what he is. I know this is that it doesn't say much about the kid, other than his stature. What I know about him is that he's tough. He's not afraid. He's going to do what we ask him to do. You can coach him hard. He's a kid that has talent. You can see that he's low to the ground, but he's really flexible. And he can really bend the zone play, and he presses that thing really well. And when you're able to do that, and you can kind of hide behind those big guys up front, you just kind of squirt through, and he's tough enough to run through a couple of tackles. So really proud of him. He's something that I'll tell that story for a long time.
Defensively, you were able to hold Central Missouri to 11.9 points under their season average. How are you guys able to do that?
Stop the run. If you stop the run, you've got a chance to win. And we part of our plan for success every week is to win the rushing battle. And we can go into today and we look at rushing yards a little bit different than a lot of people, because we're going to find a way to get the ball to JT. We're going to find a way to get the ball to Crockett. We're going to find a way to get the ball to Dustin Boskus. We're going to find a way to get the ball to all those kids, and some of that stuff's run game to us. And all the speed sweep, the fly sweep stuff, there were some adjustments, and the offensive staff did an unbelievable job today. With Christian Hood and Tyler Holland and Jarrell Jackson, those guys did an unbelievable job of taking what you have, and making a plan, and go execute the plan, and let the kids buy into it. Allow them to buy into it. You got to sell it a little bit as a coach. And when you're able to do that, and you got talented kids, you put up some numbers.
Defensively, I think you guys forced at least 4 turnovers. You talk about the impact and how you were, I guess, able to come away with those 4 turnovers.
Well, the one at the end of the first half, you get great pressure by Carson Smith. You get great pressure by Carson Smith there at the end of that half, and Fig did a great job of sitting in the window, made a play, and then we had you kind of, as the game went, you forced them to throw, and they've had a little bit of a tendency to turn the ball over this year. We knew if we could make them throw the football by stopping the run, we could probably create some turnovers. And great play by Stephon Robinson on a tough route that they run a lot. And he did a great job with great concentration, and the ball kind of popped around. And Colton Lindsey with a really good drop, but we had a pressure right there too. And then had a pressure on the last play of the game too. Chris Pogai had a really nice pressure, and that's what caused that ball to kind of flutter a little bit. And Trent Ellis comes up with a great play there at the end of the game. So those guys did an unbelievable job. And the thing I'm proud about those kids as much as anything is because they get criticized a little bit, and we know that. We know that. But here's the thing. We've had the last 2 football games. We've had guys in very similar situations to what we've had on the offensive side of the ball at the running back position. And when you play in a league like this, you're going to get balls thrown at you. You get 40 balls thrown at you by a triple option team, in Nebraska Kearney. And last week, you get 40 balls thrown at you at Missouri Southern, and what people don't know is they don't know. And those guys have done a great job on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm proud of that staff on that side of the ball too for keeping those guys together. And you're starting to get healthy, and you kind of start seeing some, some life. You don't have Carson Smith last week, and that's kind of a big deal. Players make plays. It ain't coaches. It's the players, and those guys have done a good job, and they've stuck with them.
Offensively, you guys have had pretty good games. What has been the key to your offensive success?
I think versatility. I think that's probably as much of it as possible. Or really as much of it as anything. We're versatile. But we're versatile with athletes. You got different body types and skill sets with guys like Looper and Crockett and Elliott Curry and Boskus and some of those guys that have really stepped up and played. And then obviously, the quarterback has played really well. And I think that's the deal is you're able to be versatile. We have scheme that we want to run, but our kids are the key. Scheme's overrated. You find players and they need to adjust, and you got to put them in great situations to go execute, and that's what our offensive staff has been able to do. And once you figure that out and you get the ball in space to those guys, it's hard to tackle them.
You're sitting at 5-4 now. how can you continue to keep the positive momentum going moving forward into your last couple of football games?
Just concentrate on us. We continue to concentrate on who we are and what we do well. That's the biggest thing. You know, that's football. You know, it is. We can't. It's easy to turn on a football game tonight when we get home and say, "Yeah, I want to do that." Well, the key is you know, is put the players in a position to make plays. You know, put Alex Figueroa in a position where he can go make football plays. You know, put you know, a kid like Stephon Robinson in a position where he can go make football plays. I mean, football plays as that kid made this year. You know, I mean, I think he's played in 5 games. You know, he's got 3 interceptions or something like that on the year. But you know, and there's some things that he hadn't done well. But the kid makes football plays. You know, if you put them in positive situations and you allow them to go play, then they make you look like you know what you're doing.
All right, thank you. Central Oklahoma hits the road for the rest of the year, heads to Topeka next week for Washburn, and then the final game of the season 2 weeks from tonight in Tahlequah, Oklahoma against Northeastern State for the President's Cup. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.